about 12,000 years ago, which included the formation of social hierarchies, the early primitive forms of government, labor specialization, domestication of plants and animals, early forms of trade, large-scale cooperations of humans, like that required to build, yes, the pyramids and temples, like Göbekli Tepe. I think this may be the right way to actually talk about the inventions that changed human history, not just as a single invention, but as a kind of network of innovations and transformations that came along with it. And the productivity multiplier framework that I mentioned in the episode, I think is a nice way to try to concretize the impact of each of these inventions under consideration. And we have to remember that each node in the network of the sort of fast follow-on inventions is in itself a productivity multiplier. Some are additive, some are multiplicative. So in some sense, the size of the network in the package is the thing that matters when you're trying to rank the impact of inventions on human history. The easy picks for the period of biggest transformation, at least in sort of modern day discourse, is the Industrial Revolution, or even in the 20th century, the computer or the internet. I think it's because it's easiest to intuit for modern day humans, the impact, the exponential impact of those technologies. But recently, and I suppose this changes week to week, but I have been doing a lot of reading on ancient human history. So recently, my pick for the number one invention would have to be the first agricultural revolution, the Neolithic package that led to the formation of human civilizations. That's what enabled the scaling of the collective intelligence machine of humanity, and for us to become the early bootloader for the next 10,000 years of technological progress, which, yes, includes AI, and the tech that builds on top of AI. And of course, it could be argued that the word invention doesn't properly apply to the agricultural revolution. I think actually Yuval Noah Harari argues that it wasn't the humans who were the inventors, but a handful of plant species, namely wheat, rice, and potatoes. This is strictly a fair perspective, but I'm having fun, like I said, with this discussion. Here, I just think of the entire Earth as a system that continuously transforms, and I'm using the term invention in that context, asking the question of when was the biggest leap on the log scale plot of human progress. Will AI, AGI, ASI eventually take the number one spot in this ranking? I think it has a very good chance to do so, due again to the size of the network of inventions that will come along with it. I think we discuss in this podcast the kind of things that would be included in the so-called AI package, but I think there's a lot more possibilities, including discussed in previous podcasts, in many previous podcasts, including with Dario Amodei, talking on the biological innovation side, the science progress side. In this podcast, I think we talk about something that I'm particularly excited about in the near term, which is unlocking the cognitive capacity of the entire landscape of brains that is the human species, making it more accessible through education and through machine translation, making information, knowledge, and the rapid learning and innovation process accessible to more humans, to the entire 8 billion, if you will. So I do think language or machine translation applied to all the different methods that we use on the internet to discover knowledge is a big unlock. But there are a lot of other stuff in the so-called AI package, like discussed with Dario, curing all major human diseases. He really focuses on that in the Machines of Love and Grace essay. I think there will be huge leaps in productivity for human programmers and semi-autonomous human programmers, so humans in the loop, but most of the programming is done by AI agents, and then moving that towards a superhuman AI researcher that's doing the research that develops and programs the AI system in itself. I think there'll be huge transformative effects from autonomous vehicles. These are the things that we maybe don't immediately understand, or we understand from an economics perspective, but there will be a point when AI systems are able to interpret, understand, interact with the human world to a sufficient degree to where many of the manually controlled human-in-the-loop systems we rely on become fully autonomous. And I think mobility is such a big part of human civilization that there will be effects